My #1 warrior had been scouting this new breed for quite some time and had informed me many times that our strategies needed to be revised. It was the arrogance of my insecure ego which refused to heed the warnings of a loyal patriot, as I stood firm to my outdated methods that were as vulnerable as the groups that I had conquered so easily in the past. We went out on the battlefield with the same confidence we carried in the past, as our opponents set up strategies and implemented tactics which we had never seen. The only person in my camp who had any idea of what we were up against had been left behind by my command to secure the castle. They picked us off at will in the middle of a field where my team had participated in numerous battles in the past. This battle was extremely different, because this time it was my team which was being led to slaughter. The position I had put my men in could have easily been avoided, if only I had taken the time to listen to loyalty. It was clear to me that the new generation had arrived in full force and would have its way with any camp which stood firm to the old methods. As I stated earlier, my warriors took pleasure dying in battle at my side, but even my arrogance will admit that they did not have to die like this. They fought with everything they had, and they refused to quit, even if it meant death. As we fought our last battle together, it was the most brutal massacre we'd ever witnessed in our day. I must have been injured from head to toe as I watched my warriors fall to their deaths, and I had a strange feeling that this would be my day to give in to the spirit. Our opponents could have taken me out at any time, but they seemed to be enjoying the look on my face as my army was reduced. It was just a cat and mouse game from beginning to end as we stood in battle, baffled and confused. They were showing me a much more vicious approach toward battle than anything I'd ever seen or been. They would allow us to watch each other die as they stood by and laughed at the damage they had inflicted. And after the life would leave the body of one of my soldiers, they'd attack another of my men who was closest to the corpse. They toyed with us effortlessly while we were giving everything we had. The battle continued in favor of my opponents, and all the remaining men in my army could do was try to flee, searching for some small glimmer of safety. After witnessing what was in store for the rest of us, I totally understood and condoned their desire to flee. We mounted a swift retreat and were cornered at the edge of a cliff, which left my few remaining men standing exposed to even more ways of torture. Our opponents had cleverly positioned us to where our only route for escape would be to jump off the cliff behind us. I truly believed they wanted to see us jump off the cliff as a form of entertainment for their troops. I don't know if I was lucky or cursed at the end of the battle, because all of my men in that battle lost their lives as I was pushed off the cliff and suffered incredible injuries, but did not die. These lives of injuries have been a curse, a lesson, and a blessing upon me to this day. But I always find a way to finish living my life and bring some type of faith to others before I die. And I continue to pray that I find the same faith for myself. I know that my lessons are always passed on to enlighten the souls of others who might be at a crossroad in their life, but I find myself constantly searching for some of the same. I had lost all of the men who had gone to the battlefield that day, when I found myself lying in the sand near the water. For some reason, I knew I was at peace close to the water, so I stayed until I was well enough to make it back to my castle. I knew that the men left in charge of the castle could hold off any type of attack and would always be safe in that strategic location. The castle was built in an area where the people on the inside could easily hold off a large army. Upon my return, I knew that I would never fight another battle. And I could also feel that my time and my lessons in this lifetime were coming to an end. I was starting to feel the weight of my deeds, and my ego no longer was feeling like a friend. This is when the spirit started to become strong in me for the first time in that lifetime.
Wow, I really enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see what's next.